I greet you in peace and love. This is another installment in our Path of series. The messages whose title starts with the path of present, a spiritual or consciousness expanding practice. Different practices will work better for different people. Hence, it is up to you to decide which practice you want to engage in. Of course, you can just try a practice and see if it works for you. And going to a conventional psychologist can also be a great option. None of these messages are a substitute for visiting a psychologist. If you have physical or mental health problems, these benevolent beings are also helping many of us in working with the Earth's grid distortions associated with the seventh dimensional Earth's portal or gate, which is the one allowing the full spectrum of the violet ray in our Earth plane, and that has been recently completely rehabilitated. You may see them as ethereal blue beings, as I call them, as well as Syrians, although their BU frequency is a bit different. This is the frequency band they move in, which for us is perceived as an electric blue color, hard to translate into our human language. As you know, our Earth's seventh dimensional gate was deeply manipulated and controlled for eons, and the Arcturians have been the guardians of it, helping the Earth to reclaim its lost purity and its own spiritual functions as a living organism that is connected to all dimensions. Even though you may not be aware, or those of what you call the general public may not be aware of these changes that are happening. And people are waking up everywhere. A grand awakening is in process. That is what this is all about. This transition that you are moving through at this point is all about the awakening of mankind. The awakening of the collective consciousness of man. That is what you came here for. That is why this is all happening as it is happening. And know that it is not about what is coming. It is about what is already here now. Here, now, in this moment, you are experiencing the new birth of the Christ consciousness here on the planet. This awakening, the truth coming forward everywhere, is about the Christ consciousness coming back into this planet. Do you believe their comments are intended for you? Do you internalize their words and your perception of what was said? This may cause some irritation. Why did they say this thing about you? Should you take offense to it? Let's say you are significantly impacted by interpretations known as your perceptions. Rather than react to clarify their statements, do you instead internalize them in frustration? In doing so, if you felt some angst without choosing to acknowledge it, recognize you have elected to store some new emotional baggage. It will remain with you until you're ready to deal with it. At some point, you'll need to acknowledge and feel this stored energy. Each awaits your reflection and engagement. This energy awaits your readiness to feel them. I imagine that some people might think, you live in paradise, you wouldn't get it. I've had to make the decision myself. I'm feeling tired. Do I hand over my command for the day to someone else and go rest? Or do I simply work and try to do my best? And early on, I did choose poorly one time, and that probably did cause the death of 2 people. So yes, I understand that it does suck to be tired, and to have to choose between either saying that you can't do the job for the day, or to do the job anyway. Although, of course, the actual victims are the 2 people who died and their families. Admittedly, I do have the luxury that I won't get into trouble if I say that I'm going to take the day off. I understand that many of you don't have that luxury, while still being in the position that doing a poor job causes clear harm to others. So, yes, it does suck when you are tired and you have a work day ahead of you. Indeed, it does. The Arcturians have anchored 12 crystals on Earth to help us create fifth-dimensional spaces. Crystals act as quantum computers that integrate and amplify the Arcturian light codes and frequency, extending it to the location and the ones who possess the level of consciousness required to embody it as well. During this Piscean month, the Arcturian healing light codes that are descending upon our planet are helping particularly to heal our Earth's waters, rehabilitating many locations whose waters have been poisoned, as well as its living forms that too have been affected by the continuous manipulation of the waters and its species. For those of you who are our healers, the Arcturians can help you remember who you are, your mission as a healer, and how to decode your inner power and resources to increase your light quotient, so you can embody and spread your healing light to all you assist. Just as the Great One, Yeshua, attempted to share this Christ consciousness with all that would be aware of it, all that would allow him to share it. Just as that was happening, it is all about what is happening now in this moment. In this moment, great change is upon you. Great change here now in this moment. And much that is, or was about to happen, has already happened, and that is something you need to understand. You are fully within this transition, within the process, within the ascension process. You are in it right now. So know that. Know that as you continue to move through your life daily, hourly, momentarily, it is all about continuing to move forward, always onward, forward into the light more and more. The light of truth, the light of love, the light of one. That is what you are here to do. That is what those around you are in the process of doing as well. Many, many more are in this awakening process than you can possibly imagine at this point. Even though they are not showing the signs that you might be looking for, they are indeed in that process now. True, there are those that will very likely never wake up, not in this go-around, but it is not about this for you. And when an emotion is stored and then forgotten about, it does in time impact your world. By the time the conversation is over, you may not remember all that was said, yet your body, which is the repository of emotion, does remember. And so years later, you have accumulated lots of emotional energy that lay dormant but internally active. Over time, these unexpressed emotions outpicture themselves through an assortment of maladies. Perhaps they are outpictured through limited body function, disease, or illness. Do others morph into body aches, unexpected pains, or neuroses that are unexplained? How did this happen? I wasn't doing anything that should have caused this issue. I don't understand. So there you are, one day feeling perfectly fine, and the next an unexplained and unwelcome pain enters your world for which you must now deal. Still, ultimately, that's just the reality of physical existence. Ultimately, we all can't do more than our best. And it doesn't actually benefit us to have a rule that we must always perform well and then experience psychological distress because we're violating our own rule. Just do your best, and that's all you can do. If you are tired, that sucks. But if you then go and judge yourself that you're going to violate your personal rule that you must work and do a good job well, then it double sucks. And there's no reason for the second suck, if I'm using Earth's slang properly. Ultimately, I think people as a child were motivated or were driven forward by teaching them rules such as unless you have a clear illness, you must work and you must do a good job. Children were either literally told this rule, or they were taught it because at school they weren't allowed to take time off or do a poor job if they didn't have a clear illness. Honestly, I think it's pretty sad that Earth children are driven forward like this. And that adults didn't take the time to set up an education system where children learn because they are genuinely excited and self-motivated to learn certain things. Because if you have a healthy child, they have plenty of energy and motivation and curiosity to learn things. For those who are undergoing a profound reconstruction and recalibration in your light bodies, they can too assist you through their light technologies to stabilize your body, as they are wonderful etheric surgeons. We have all the assistance required for us to proceed with our healing and ascension process. However, as guides always remind us, all we need is within, for all the memories, healing resources, and power to shift any current state of being, distortion, circumstance, or any other misalignments is within. And it is our responsibility as conscious beings to become aware of this truth and act accordingly. It is not for you to be concerned about their past, only about your past. Your past that is taking you further and further into the light of truth, further and further through this transition, further and further through this ascension process, and further away from the old three-dimensional illusionary programs. The programs that have followed you through this entire life, the programs that have followed you from lifetime to lifetime, are now coming to an end. And that is what you need to realize. That is what you need to understand, that the old programming is, indeed, coming to an end. And the more that you come to realize and know that, then the more indeed it shall be at an end. And the new programming, the new creative program, the new imaginative program that you are bringing about will be your life moving forward. So know that everything is in process. Know that everything is exactly as it needs to be in this moment, as part of the great universal plan. The plan for each and every one of you, the plan for the collective consciousness of this planet. The plan for the planetary consciousness herself, and on into the solar system and the galaxy itself. All is in change. All is in flux at this point. Continual oversight is advised to these mental assessments. You are the guardian of your thoughts. Monitor the thoughts you are thinking. Monitor, observe, and shift away from thoughts that make you feel unhappy by choosing to focus on those things that make you feel better. Do you believe this to be a simple thing to do? Begin today by looking upon your thoughts as they appear mentally. Do not judge them. Only observe these thoughts. Do some seem silly or inappropriate? Consider each and without judgment, and then release them. Allow them to float away as you engage other thoughts that are more in keeping with where you prefer to maintain your focus. Your focused attention is most important. Set an intention on those things that bring you joy and to those objectives that you wish to grow. Move in this way rather than any other. Choose better thoughts to focus on and recognize everything said is not about you. Can you let words that incite anger go over or flow through you without letting them impact you? Choose to think thoughts that make you feel good. This will allow your body to breathe. Yes, to breathe. Otherwise, the tense and tight way it feels has no means of release. Also, might you release perceptions held? Why? Who cannot know what another is thinking unless you ask for their input to allow for clarity to enter in? What you perceive may not be as you believe.